Ooh, what's up, you guys? First of all, welcome to Dear Black Woman Uncensored. This is just the uncensored version of the regular podcast where we rip off the band-aid and talk about the stuff nobody else wants to talk about. Not like we don't already do that. But today we're tackling what it means to redefine intimacy, breaking myths and building connections with others. What is intimacy beyond the physical? What's holding us back from truly connecting to others? And how do we shatter the stereotypes about love and intimacy in the Black community? Joining us, well, it's supposed to be a 4-man panel and a 4-female panel, but two of our panelists are missing today. So it is just four of us, two women, two men, and I do believe all of us are over the age of 40. So let's get ready to get real, get raw, and maybe even get uncomfortable a little bit and break it all the way down between what it means to be truly intimate and break myths and what it means to build connections with Black women and Black men in the Black community. Oh, but before, let's intro our co-host, Nicole.
Hey. What's up?
Okay, Nicole.
Yeah.
This is gonna be one of those shows where I'm hoping that that I don't have to remind you to let down the guard and be yourself. But listen, we're gonna miss Lauren on this episode. Not only Lauren, but Lionel as well. But it's the two old ladies, so to speak.
That's right. Kisses to Lauren.
Yeah, but as Lauren says, I am the troublemaker, so this should be interesting. And I promise I'm gonna be good on this episode. I'm not gonna start no arguments, no mess. But I do have a lot of questions. I have a lot of, opinions. And I know
that's good. That's good. There's plenty to talk about.
Yeah, I know you do too. But what's interesting is it is not just you and I on this episode. No, we have a panel and we brought in two fellas. Just so happens they're both here in the same city that I'm in. They're both here in the Atlanta area. Yes. So we have two guys from the United States that are on our panel this week. So they are here in Georgia. I'll bring them on. One's name is Sanchez. The other one is Dewan. And many of you have heard us talk about Dewan because Dewan is the one who produced Rabbit Productions, who produces our intro and outro music, not only for this podcast, but for our regular episodes of Dear Black Woman. He also produces the music for the 10 Dimensions of Wellness and quite a few other things that we do. So any music that you hear, most likely it has come from Dewan and Rabbit Productions. So let's bring on our panelists. Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Here.
There you go.
How goes it? Sanchez, how you doing, brother?
Good evening, sir. How you doing, sir? I'm well. And yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, man. I woke up breathing, man. I'm all right.
All right. Well, Dewan, you've seen the show before and you know how we do. This is a show where there are literally no inhibitions, no boundaries. We say how we feel and we present who we are. We show up as who we are authentically. So with that being said, we do have a list of panel questions. I'll open up the floor with a couple of those questions, but we talk as if we are just good friends on a phone call having a real serious phone conversation. So everybody's so quiet. I feel
yes. It's the first one.
After a few minutes, person that's like
after a few minutes, we're gonna get into
everybody. So including you, Nicole. What in the world? Don't leave me hanging out here on this branch by myself, okay?
Girl, it's late.
Right. Tell everybody what time it is where you are.
It is 1 a.m. on my side, 1:13.
See, so that's dedication right there.
That would be like
trying.
I think we should just jump right into it. I think we just need
I was ready to get into it. So I have a question for you guys. first of all, everybody on this call, what is your relationship status? Starting Nicole, go ahead.
Ooh, single and happily single. Happily single and at peace. Lord. Yes, I am actually.
Sanchez, Nicole,
Single as well.
Duane,
I have a girlfriend.
I'm single as well.
Ah,
Okay.
all right. All right.
All right, so I asked that so that we all get a perspective of where everybody's coming from.
Mhm.
Um, the mindset,
Mhm.
the why behind some of the answers, the why behind some of the you know the habits, behaviors, words, any of that. And with that being said, I'm gonna just jump right into it. We're talking about intimacy tonight, and I want to know from each person what's the difference between intimacy and sex.
That's a good
Nicole,
question.
I guess I'll start with you.
Of course, you have to start with me. Intimacy, it's creating a bond, creating a partnership, creating something special between two people. Having sex is just, it's just having a functional, functional action, to me, pretty much. But being intimate and really being into it is basically another level of emotional intelligence and partnership. To me, that's what it is.
Okay, Dewan.
I think intimacy is
You're gonna have to speak up.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I think intimacy is a form of vulnerability. Um, it's shared closeness. It's um, it's a much deeper connection than just sex. Sex is just physical.
You said what?
Because sex is just physical.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, Sanchez.
Um, for me, I think sex is a byproduct of intimacy. It's a result of intimacy, uh,
Mhm.
or an expression. Uh, and intimacy is the true connection that results in sex.
Mhm.
I just see it that simply just that way.
Okay.
Y'all, am I gonna be the only person that's just
Huh?
And for you, Cami.
well, I'm actually gonna agree with everybody. I think there are levels to intimacy, but I think sex is a expression of intimacy, although sex can also be just a physical act.
Mhm.
But I think intimacy has far much more to do with connection and bonding and things like that, rather than so much so just sex.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when you talk about intimacy between, and I'm not even going to say man and woman, I'm just going to say between partners, um, it's so much more than just sex. And I think intimacy is what makes sex great.
Yeah, I agree. Mm.
It's
It's
funny.
the
What's the rule?
it's
You just jump in as far as when you.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want to say. Yeah. It's like
But
I
it's
just
funny we're talking from this perspective, but I think when we're younger, I think sex is perceived as intimacy, right? Because
yeah,
yeah,
you
I
just
would say, yeah.
we're adults, so we've been through it. We had some life experiences. We know the difference. But I think younger, I think some people do go through life thinking sex is a part of intimacy, and really don't understand that it's different for some folks. It's
Mhm.
the sex is better when intimacy is in place because if you're just feeding the flesh, the sex could still be good, but it's different when the intimacy is tied in.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Good sex,
I
I have you confused. That's intimacy. I think.
very true.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And I think that's where things get misconstrued, and you think you're building on something, you're just building on sex.
Well, a lot of people don't know how to differentiate between, and I think that's sort of what you were saying when you were saying when we were younger. I don't know necessarily know if it's younger or just people not knowing the difference between intimacy and sex. Um, a lot of people confuse intimacy or confuse sex as intimacy. So
Yeah.
that's why I said there are levels to intimacy, and sex can be an expression of intimacy, but sex can also just be a physical act.
That is right. Mm.
Nicole, I'm gonna need you to wake up. You should have been drinking some coffee. But
I'm sorry.
how
It's
do you guys
long.
think men and women sort of weaponize intimacy against each other?
It's a control thing.
Yeah.
That's
Basically controlling access to.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
that's a controlling thing,
Nicole,
definitely.
if you say yeah one more time.
and of course that would be primary a weaponizing of women. Women use intimacy as a weapon. I would
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, men do the same. The men do the
He
same.
didn't do the same thing.
I don't know. So many men is gonna go, oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
men
hold
do the
sex
same.
as
He didn't
ransom.
do the same
That's too many men
thing.
gonna hold. This is the nature of a man gonna hold sex as a ransom. Be like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm not. That's a woman's thing. Go sleep on the couch. That's a woman's. That's don't touch me. Very rarely you hear a man be like, don't touch
There
me.
are men that do that too. There are men that do that too.
There
Yeah.
are always those that do. But if we're talking on a major scale, if we're speaking in general, that's not what we do. We don't want to withhold sex.
Or yeah.
Women
Or
tend
in
to.
intimacy.
Hold on,
Or
wait. I believe you said we don't want to withhold sex. Was that not your statement?
That's not what we normally do.
Okay.
Women tend
So
to
let me
not-
say this to you. We don't want to withhold sex.
However,
I disagree.
there's a control
Mm.
thing. That's it.
Yes, it is a control thing,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Don't
just
withhold sex.
refusing to give you access to me. That's what it says. Or that's a way also to manipulate people's feelings.
Yeah.
What do we do?
So
There's even a saying, happy wife, happy life.
Hmm.
Where that's come from.
There is.
The intimacy is
There
not
is.
just the sex, it's her being nice, her being, a wife.
but that has absolutely nothing to do with what we just said.
Because
You
Absolutely
says,
nothing.
does
because
partners
man,
control,
that man got to go.
weaponize? That's how women weaponize it because they hold it over like a ransom. It's like, if you don't, it's like a probing stick. If you don't do it, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, but there's more to it for a happy
That is
wife,
not
happy life.
true.
It's much deeper for us to be happy and content in the relationship than having sex. And that's the thing. A
So
lot of
this
men do not understand that.
this
Okay,
is
so
where the
Nicole,
levels of intimacy come in. Because in order for a woman to want to have sex with you, she first has to feel safe with you. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna necessarily say she has to trust you, but trust if in the confinements of a relationship, then trust is a factor.
Hmm.
But if you're talking about outside of a relationship, then trust is not a factor. But when it comes to having sex within a relationship, when you're saying a woman is withholding sex, she's usually withholding sex or saying she doesn't want to have sex because of something that has occurred, not
There's a good
because
reason for that.
she just wants to withhold sex. So there's something that has occurred to make her feel first unsafe
for
or
instance,
second not to be able to trust you.
what what could one of those things that could possibly occur that would prompt her to withhold?
What do you mean? Ask
What
that
was
again.
okay? Both of y'all just agreed that something had to occur to prompt this.
Yeah.
What would have had to occur?
Now let me say this. Let me put a little disclaimer on this, okay? That's different for each woman. I can't give you a rule book on that. The reason why
Mm.
is because everybody got different personalities. Everybody has different limitations, different boundaries. You
Are
know,
you
some
saying
people accept certain things, other people don't. You know, so I can't really tell you. I can tell you from my perspective. I can tell you from, you know, Nicole can tell you from her perspective, but all I can tell you is it's different for each woman that you deal with.
okay? So to a man, that makes it sound arbitrary. Based on this woman, she may withhold sex for, you know, XYZ grounds. Based on Nicole's vibe, it may be something different. How are we supposed to know?
But
I mean,
and that's why I said let me you know I'm going to play devil's advocate on this. You are absolutely right on that. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Yeah, because as you know, as every man is different, every woman is different.
Yes,
There's not
but
a
it's the same
blueprint,
thing.
you know?
Every man doesn't do everything the same kind of way. You got to
Yeah.
be different too.
okay, so
Yeah. But if something like that were to happen, that means that there's miscommunication within the two partners, and something where the woman is unhappy, and that's for sure. You
got
know,
And
something is.
I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go back and because I done dealt with some dudes that be the same kind of way. So I'm gonna say when the person is unhappy, because I know some dudes that'll withhold sex too.
Yeah.
what are we prioritizing? Are we prioritizing happiness over practicality and functionality? Because it seems like women tend to withhold when they are not happy. You just mentioned the phrase happy
So
wife.
I didn't use the phrase happy. What I said was women tend to withhold when they feel unsafe or when there
Mhm.
are trust issues. So I gave you
Yeah.
some real, you know, like it's not just about measuring happiness.
But that sounds like justification, though, no?
Yeah, huh?
I said that in itself sounds like a justification. I'm able or I have the right based on what just occurred. I'm not happy. I don't like
So
the
I
mission.
was again me disclaimer out there. You know me. I'm Switzerland in this situation. Sometimes. Um, that really is defined between the couple, so to speak. I can't say a general answer for that. Meaning, um, if there were two people that were in a relationship and that situation occurred, that's really based on what each of those people feel is right. Like I said, um, I've dealt with men who withheld sex for reasons that I was like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard of in the world. And in talking to some of my homeboys, it's been the opposite with females who have withheld sex. And they'll tell me something, I'm like, oh, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard in the world. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I think a lot of it has to do with what occurs within the relationship, boundaries within
Yeah.
the
It's
relationship,
mainly miscommunication, something that is not addressed.
the agreement between the both parties involved. That's what I think it has a lot to do with. Because if I'm feeling unsafe and we're not in a place where we can talk about it, or you know, where you and I are communicating on a level where that night we're making up, because I got a hard belief that if I'm in a relationship, we're not going to bed angry at each other. So we shouldn't be, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying, like that communication. You sleep on the
I agree
couch,
too.
so we not doing that. I don't believe in that. So if I'm feeling unsafe and we can't communicate about it, then that's a problem within that relationship. And that's why I say it just really depends on the people, because you got people together who don't know how to communicate and don't know how to talk to each other. So that's generally when situations like that come about, is because you dealing with somebody who can't communicate their feelings or communicate what's really going on with them,
Yeah.
or open enough to hear their partner say what's going on with them.
This is where therapy and healing comes in. The more you are working on your own healing and getting to know yourself, the better you are able to see your own patterns, or in the way that you communicate or discommunicate when there's things that are make you feel insecure or unhappy, or that just make you feel out of sorts somehow.
Yeah, like I should be able to trust you enough to talk to you. And that's why I said it's
Yeah.
safety and trust. So
Mm,
if I'm feeling unsafe, I should still have a level of trust for you, that I should be able to communicate with you and talk to you and tell you
mm,
why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And you
yeah.
should have enough respect and a level of communication as well, to where, especially with active listening, to where you can hear what I'm saying and what I'm communicating, so we don't ever get to that level of, oh, I don't want to deal with you, I don't want to have sex with you, you sleep on the couch, all of that. Like, that's petty as fuck to me.
That's hella petty. Yeah. Yeah, but that's again, you need to learn to work on yourself to be able to hear somebody else. Because if you don't hear yourself, from the get go, you're not going to be able to hear anybody else. That's the thing. You need to be self-aware. Once you're self-aware, you can see what's going on a little bit.
I answered your question.
The one is like, I'm not so sure about that. And Sanchez is like,
Mm.
yeah. No, it's a matter,
I think we digressed a little bit
Yeah.
from. I think the original question was, do we weaponize? And I think, as Kami was talking, I think part of the problem is if one person becomes the judge and the jury and decides this is how they're gonna extend their
Yeah, that's a,
punishment
that's a
is
very
by
good
not
point.
being intimate with their partner, then that's where the problem is. Then that's where the
Mhm.
communication, before it gets to that point,
Yeah.
whatever you're feeling, you have to communicate it to the other
Mm,
person. You can't take it. You can't be the judge and the jury. I think that's where the issue becomes. I
mhm.
understand. I was actually thinking about myself. I think there's been times like if something happened, I think I've been guilty, not in the mood. Like I don't, I'm good. Like I'm not feeling you right. Like so, I guess men do have that tendency. I've been in that place. Like I'm good with you right now. I'm going
Yeah.
to sleep.
See?
So part of his processing it and yeah and all that. So I guess men do have that moment, but women don't go over the edge. I guess like men might to still get it going. But I understand definitely men. I've been guilty of that
Mhm.
at the further reflection.
We have to feel disrespected. We have to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah,
going
but that's the same thing with
It's the
women.
same thing. You still being the judge
Yeah,
and the jury. You could still be like, "Hey, listen, I feel this way about
yeah.
it."
Instead of you
Yeah,
communicating how you
yeah.
feel, and instead of you telling your partner
I'm
what,
still you as a man. I'm guilty weaponizing intimacy because I'm pulling back. Like, yeah, but it's natural in relationships. I guess is how long it lasts and the degree of it. It's all.
It's not something that should be natural. What should be natural? It's a good communication between two partners. And again, working on yourself. It's where I start. I
And
am a
so
big
also,
advocate on therapy on this one because it really helps you being self-aware about
yeah,
the things you do and the things that you don't do. And it helps you also communicate better because you are able to better manage your emotions. That's
yeah.
that's the first thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a huge part of communication is not what people think it is. It's not talking. It is actually being open and being able to hear and listen to
Hmm.
what the other person is saying. And I don't mean just hear, like listening in terms to the things,
Listening is
but
really
actually
underrated skill,
listening
really.
and understanding and taking in what your partner is saying. Because if at a point where, if you guys get to the points where you're saying, well, I don't want to have sex or I don't want to do this, and you can't communicate that, that means there are some other issues that you need to talk
Yeah.
about.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, but active
Mhm.
listening is also, just one of those things that a lot of us, and I say us, don't do very well.
It takes time. It takes time. It takes time. It takes time.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you guys to be a little honest with yourselves and with us and our viewers and listeners. What's a toxic belief about intimacy that you think you carry, and how did it mess up your relationships or relationships in the past for you?
Mm.
I would say a toxic belief of intimacy, which for me, intimacy is love and emotion, is that love could conquer all, or love could fix or make sense at all. And for me, that's been a toxic trait because that's not the case.
That is true.
Mm.
That is true. That
You
is
know what? I would say love does conquer all, but it takes some work.
yeah.
Mm.
That's the
And
thing that
I
people
think
are not realizing, because
yeah,
in order to love, it takes some work
I
to
I
be able to
disagree.
totally
get there.
I
I believe
disagree.
that, but I think love, again, love is an action word. So
Mhm.
love
Mhm.
always
And
takes,
love is a choice.
yeah, and love is a choice. You're right. So love always
Mhm.
takes work, and just in life, period, anything, you have to work at it, and you have to.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this. It's something I've come to realize. It's a huge misconception with the word. For me. I've noticed it's been a huge misconception. When people say love, there's an associated feeling like there's this endless forgiveness, right?
Oh no.
Let me finish. This endless forgiveness, right? And 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 with that being said, it's like an investment. You could only invest in something until you have to realize that the investment is not working. It's just like how much love you pour into something. Eventually, you're gonna realize it don't matter how much love you pour into this; it's not gonna work for whatever the the situation is. Circumstances sometimes, a lot of times, that's why, or it wasn't in the Almighty.
So let me ask you
Whatever.
this: in
Yeah.
situations like that, are those situations more emotional or more logical? Because logically speaking, you know when something isn't going to work. Like logically speaking, you know in your heart of hearts, like I'm guilty of it, and so I'm not picking. I'm
Yeah.
literally telling you, yeah. Because like I just went through the same thing, just pouring love into a situation where I knew it wasn't going to work. I knew that this wasn't going to be beneficial for me. And I was just pouring love and pouring love and pouring love into it. But was that more of an emotional reaction or more of a logical reaction? Because the reason I say that is because logically speaking, I knew a year before I decided to make a move that my situation wasn't going to work. You understand?
Mm. And,
Mhm.
and, and and I have to respond. I have to respond with it this way. When you talk about love, real love, and what you really want to experience, in my opinion, there is no logic, right? You evaluate if the situation is good for you once you love the person. That's where the logic come in. But as far as love the person, there's not a lot of logic into it. And we do see red flags. And I think for me, that was the toxic trait for me in intimacy. I thought the love could overcome these red flags, but really
Okay.
no. they it, and then the red flags sometimes it's circumstance. I read it one time. I like how it's described like that. It's circumstance. we don't see things the same way, or our history is now allowing us to align at this stage in life. Maybe it's the wrong time in life, or maybe, all these circumstances. That's why it's not love. But I've generally loved people, and I've loved them. If it was just based on love, I still would have been with them. But it was other stuff that didn't
It was
work.
life circumstance.
That didn't work. So just to Nicole, just to answer your question, that's why I said I disagree. Because we go into this notion like love could conquer all. I don't believe that, because it after a while it becomes abuse for the person that's loving, in my opinion. You see what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
that's the thing is that you in terms of love, you need to make an assessment of if it's something that's going to be beneficial for you. Because once you're aware of yourself, you're not putting yourself out there in situations where your intuition is telling you that things are not going to be gelling.
And that's
You
why
know,
I said,
it starts with you.
yeah,
What are you gonna, in order to be able to love somebody, you need to start with yourself.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I disagree with that, because according to your theory, love would have fixed all those things. It's not
No,
about
no,
me.
no, no, no,
Now
no,
it's
no,
turning
no.
about me.
That's
It's
not,
not about
no,
me. I
no, no,
love them,
no, no.
and if I
No,
love them enough,
Sanchez,
everything would be
that's
good.
not what I mean. Because
No,
you can love someone, but you can also assess that they are not good for you. And the deal is to make sure that even though you have a love for them, that before anything else, you have love for yourself, so you don't find yourself in a situation when your heart gonna be broken. And
not
it
even,
start again
not
with
even,
you.
and I'm not
It
even going
starts
to say
with you.
heart being broken, but a situation where you're depleting yourself and you're pouring more love out than you're.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
again, in situations like that, love is reciprocal. It should be reciprocated, meaning that as much as you give, you should also be received.
yeah, I agree. But there's level to that, to this. There's level to this. There's different way of loving each other. But the more self-aware, again, and I'm reading that a lot because those two dudes here don't want to talk about this. The more self-aware you are about yourself, the level of love that you have
I
for
guess
yourself going to be translated into your relationships and the people that's going to be around you.
I
That
guess
goes
I
back
don't
to
see the correlation, or how where
Mhm.
self awareness in the amount of love I give. I don't see.
So I'm going to try to explain this to you what Nicole is saying. What
Yeah.
Nicole is saying is in self awareness, you
Mm.
are aware of who you are. You are aware of, how you communicate, what makes you tick, what makes you, what triggers you. You're aware of how much you love yourself. You are aware of you. You are
You are aware of your needs.
Yes, you are aware of everything about you. But in being aware of everything about you, you also show a level of love to yourself. You also show a level of respect to yourself. So, in doing so, in loving yourself and in respecting yourself, you're not going to put yourself around anybody who isn't going to, one, love you or respect you in the same way that you. I'm not going to agree with you, Nicole, on this, in the same way that you would love and respect yourself.
you just lost.
Huh? Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. As I was saying it, I realized that I didn't agree with Nicole either.
No, and it's absolutely fine. But the thing
No,
is,
what I and here's the reason why I don't agree with you. History has taught me, and therapy has taught me that yes, I do love Cammy. I love who Cammy is. I love everything about Cammy. But Cammy has put Cammy into some predicaments and into some relationships where the other person did not value and respect and love Cammy as much as Cammy loves Cammy. So I do get what you're saying, where you're saying that discernment and all of that will be there. Yes, as we learn and as we grow, we make better decisions. We learn to you know, not be around certain people. But I also hear what Sanchez is saying when he's saying that, you know, love is a, you know, feeling like love can conquer all things is a toxic trait. Like love can't fix everything. It can't.
Yeah, but the thing, love is a choice. When you decide to love yourself,
But
then
no,
you are able
I,
to apply it.
but no,
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point.
I
That's
think
exactly my
it's.
point.
I think this is how I see it. It's like a vase, right? The vase got hole in it. It's not gonna. It's never gonna be able to hold the water because, and the love is the water. It's never gonna be able to hold the lover. And I guess for me, is like, is I could be self evolved and self in tune as much as I want. I still can't make that work. My love is not good. As much
Yeah,
love I exert or show for that person, they just not.
it's not gonna fix it.
And it's gonna, and I'm gonna, and what's gonna happen? I'm gonna abuse myself.
I was gonna
Because,
say you're gonna deplete yourself.
yeah, I'm abusing myself because I'm keep pouring into this vase that has holes in it.
Right, it's love over
But yeah,
practicality.
if you love yourself, you're not pouring into things that have holes in it. That's my point.
And I think that's what we're saying too. I think that's what
That's
we're
my
saying too.
point.
So here's the thing.
So we're saying, we're saying love don't conquer all.
Yeah.
No, but it does. It does in the sense where you once you are aware of the love that you have for yourself, you know how to not misplace it for people who are not in the level that you require. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
so you're talking from a perspective even before even getting into it, you would
Yeah.
identify this is not something I'm supposed to be.
yeah,
That's
because
what you're
people don't
saying.
think about all of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
people get into situation and then you think later. No, you assess. You would not
Okay.
go, for example,
Yeah.
you would not, for example, go and buy a car without making sure that it has all the good parts in it. Why don't you do that for a partner? That's the same
If that,
thing.
I agree with that statement.
You
If
know, that's the
I
same
agree with
thing.
that statement, if you know, I've made the, and I think I kind of made. I understand from that perspective. You love you
You
won't
know,
even entertain those situations, and I've been guilty of that. But I think it's been the intimacy. I don't know. I think I've been my wire's been a little crossed because I feel like the love could have corrected the red flags when
No,
and
no.
then
The love
and
can't
then
correct red flag.
yeah, it can. And then
no,
that's
that's not
and I think
correct.
that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think Nicole's
That's what you're
saying if
saying,
you
and that's
really
what I was saying to Nicole is
yeah, and Nicole's saying if we truly loved ourselves, it was on that level, we wouldn't even entertain those
yeah, you
situations.
wouldn't be in those situations.
Like, see my French.
You wouldn't even, yeah, you wouldn't even
Yeah.
entertain. And then,
But when
and then
you
I
get
told,
it, so
and I talked to a friend of mine, and I told her, you know, a lot of times people might preconceived notions. People might think I'm a little uppity. Or sometimes I don't date women people think I would date, and I was like, I'm gonna start leaning into that, and it's part of me loving. Like I'm not even gonna entertain things like I know I can see the red flags walking in the door. I'm not even gonna entertain. And that's because I don't have time for it, and I love myself to the point I can't even entertain that right now. And
yeah,
I go back to what Nicole was saying. I get it now.
that's what yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't go into it, you don't even waste your time trying to pour
Right.
into it.
Yeah,
It took a little minute to clear it up, but I think we cleared it up.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
That was a good
actually, the
point.
thing that you realize as you go along on your healing journey is that
Yeah.
your time is precious.
And I
Your
think
time is
that's
precious.
the Neo moment, like in the Matrix when Neo was able to see
Yeah,
Yeah.
the coding, and it's
exactly.
like you just see like I don't even need to go. I like to describe my past relationship as past. I don't even need to go down this path, these kind of
Yeah,
paths anymore.
you know
It's
that's
because I know because I love myself. Like I know in time is. I mean, for me at this stage in life, I don't feel like I'm old, but I definitely have a greater respect for time.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
greater
agree
respect for
with you.
time
I
because
agree
you
with
know
you.
the way these years go by and
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Nobody got time for that.
nobody got
No,
time for
and that is true. Nicole and I have discussed that before about not having time for the BS.
that.
So
Mm-mm.
Yeah, No, that's true. And because it's just because it's if you want to do things right, and especially if you want to be in a loving relationship where you both are working and evolving together, it takes time and it takes energy. So when you're lost on the wrong path, that means you have to go back to yourself and start again from scratch.
And let me just
Nobody
say
has
this.
time
I think each of us have been in that situation where we've had to sort of, I'm not going to say start from scratch. Well, hell, I've had to start from scratch.
for that. At some point, we all
So
do,
you
you
don't
know.
want to keep following that same path. You don't want to keep following those same behaviors or keep having those same habits.
Yeah, because we all deserve to have great, loving experience and partners that's going to be able to enrich really our lives, our mind. That's the way a real partnership and loving partnership should be, So, and it's not getting into La La Land as well, because I think, and especially probably for our generation, the Disney vision of love and the pink tinted glasses, no, there's work to be done, so yeah, that's the first thing actually when you start really when you're in therapy. So yeah, suddenly you really see the things for what they are, and that's a little bit of a shock and an adjustment, on your journey, and you reflecting on all the things that you have done, and like that's a big step there. Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you guys this. How do you think societal stereotypes like the strong black woman or either, hypersexual black men sort of curve the way we approach intimacy with each other?
Because it's just assessment based on people who have trauma. Not all black people act like that. People have healthy relationship, and we are like everybody. We have suffered tremendously because of our past and our history, and yes, there's really a lot of healings to do in our communities, but
I think we
there's
talked about this before, Nicole,
yeah there's
where we talked about that label of being a strong black woman and what
yeah
that actually means, and how that's more of a not so much so a compliment or to us anymore, and how it has built or sort of structured the way that we see relationships or the way
mhm,
we deal with relationships with each other.
yeah yeah because it's just an assessment. Yes, we are strong, but we are also loving and deserving of good partnership as well. So saying that every black man is promiscuous is not true. First of all, and it's just not giving us our flowers. There's many levels to all of this.
So how do you
There's
think that, and I'm leaving this to everybody, so any of you guys are free to answer this as well. How do you think this actually shapes the way we deal with each other, especially when it comes to those stereotypes?
Um, what I just the strong black women that what was kind of under that umbrella. I don't mind. I don't mind it. I kind of like it because I was fortunate to be raised around a lot of very strong. I'm Caribbean, very 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 strong.
Mhm.
So I love I admire it. I love it. That's why I predominantly always dated black women because I'm so attracted to that strong black woman thing. But the thing I think that's been layered in, I don't like, is this boss thing that I
Mm.
think only our women has been kind of been put in that picture. And what that portrays is this woman that just can't compromise and can't have any kind of correction. She's not, you can't confront her. You don't, and I don't like that that for our women, and I don't think that's the true overall of what Black
I
women are.
agree.
And then,
And that's sort of what we said before
and
when
then,
we said about that strong Black woman
yeah,
stereotype.
I don't. Black women are extremely very strong, and I wouldn't want to discredit that. But I think what's been layered in is this boss thing, and it doesn't leave when you're talking to your boss. That's your boss. There's no room for compromise. That's like a dictator. So I think that's where, and I think unfortunately a lot of our women inhabit that kind of persona, and they carry that into their relationship, and you can't interact like that in the natural balances with a man and a woman if you're coming in there, with that. And at the same time, a man shouldn't put him in a position to be beaten up like that too. He should be a man in the true definition.
It's because mainly people are focusing on women who are in their masculine. So
Yeah, and I think there's a lot, but that's a whole. And then the hypersexual thing for Black men, and I think it's just even for men, as more accessible you are, the less value you have. So no woman so there's no value just like to a Black man, and there's no value to our sex. And what we, if we're under that picture and we go have 3,000 kids with 5,000, that's not really us. And I think that's how and then we come into the picture. If a woman comes into the picture, her man is hypersexual, he humping everything. How could they truly have a connection or trust and love if they come in with both of those stereotypes? Even and just that, even without the trauma that people bring in, those stereotypes, societal kind of stereotypes, it brings, for me, I've experienced these things. I mean, in just dating, it's real, especially in our community, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially as a Caribbean person. That's very.
I have women tell me, like, I'm Haitian, so women like, how many families you have? I don't even have a child. So
Yeah. No, I understand that. Trust me, I'm Caribbean as well.
So that's the stereotype that's not, that we had to uphill battle.
But because it happened a lot within our community, within the Caribbean community. But the thing that people need to correlate that with is that, our ancestors didn't really have the luxury of having families of their own. So in order for us to survive, we needed to procreate to make sure that the bloodline would be alive. So, and we were used against our will. So we need to put that in context as well, So
and I think our counterparts, they don't have a lot of these hurdles that we come in, we have to fight. It's just Peter and Jane, or Muhammad and Sanja. They just figured it out. They don't have all these other societal pressures. Sanja's not coming in. Oh, Muhammad, I'm the boss. She's coming in like, what curry do you want? And roti. She's coming in the different perspective, different energy. I don't know.
So you think all Black women come into situations thinking they're the boss?
Not all, but I think even if they don't, they have a congregation that believes that way.
Otherwise, you're going to have trans, like you just said, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
It's.
But that didn't come from Black women. Definitely come from Black men.
Yeah.
That didn't even come from Black people, period.
Yeah.
So that's not a statement that was.
And that's a problem within itself.
Yeah, that's not even
that's a problem with itself. Y'all ride with it nonetheless. You know what I mean? So it may have not. You guys may have not have started it, but you guys stand on it. Now, what is the equal?
We're not the only ones who stand on that.
Hold on. What is the equal? It's only happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, but they don't even come from Black women. And we're not the only ones who stand on that. Yeah,
But
like I hear white women say that more than I hear black women say that.
Say
I
what?
hear Hispanic women say that a lot too.
whole black
Say
Yeah,
what?
I don't hear a lot of black women quote that unless they just trying to be funny about something. But
Say what, Kami? What quote? What?
I heard
happy life.
No, black women don't quote it because
Yeah.
they don't have that mindset. You know what? It's
black women definitely quote that. I hear that all.
But see, that's the one is saying the opposite. And I'm saying I don't hear a lot of black women quote that.
I heard
I
that.
think I'm saying the opposite too. I think because black.
I heard it from black women. I never heard it from any other race. I heard this from black women. Listen, men have been taught from day one how to treat women.
No, because if that was the case, we would not be in the situation we are in.
Hold up. Hear me out.
Just saying that.
My experience, black men have been taught how to treat women. Women have been taught what to expect from black men. There's a disconnect.
No, that's much deeper than that because we were not taught to show up as our full self, being emotionally available. And I'm talking for men. For a man to be emotionally available and vulnerable with you. That this is something that we haven't taught. Men have been taught to provide. And to be there but they haven't, all the emotional part of it was taken out.
Okay, I want to be clear. I'm listening to two women tell two men how men were taught.
No, what we saying is, you're saying that men were taught how to take care of women, and we're saying that if men were taught how to take care of women,
men were taught how to treat women. Women were taught what to expect from men. You know, Sanchez, am I
I understand what you're saying. He I guess what lane and what they were to provide. Men was shown to provide something, and women were supposed to be like, "What are you providing?"
That's what Nicole was saying. Is that men were taught to provide and to protect, and women were taught.
And to add on what he's saying, and I think part of the problem due to greater forces in social media, the expectation of what women want from a man and what they really think they deserve, what they think they're gonna get is not realistic. A lot of times you hear the average woman, "Oh, I want a 6-figure," and when you do the numbers, it's a small percentage of people in that category, and a lot of times these are women not really in the position to be asking for these things. It's like, what are you talking about? But there is bigger issues. There's bigger things at play. I do agree, and I do agree why we're the way we are. But this is just my feeling at this point. Now that we know, what are we going to do about it? You know,
that it's there.
I agree with you. I've done a lot of research. And being a foreigner, you just have to. And one thing I'm glad I've discovered as a foreigner, because a lot of times we come in here with a lot of prejudice, even among ourselves, and then unless you do the research, you understand the Black American has done a lot to try to get ahead, and it's a different oppression when you habitually have that oppression on your neck than us in the Caribbean, where you're not rich, but we're under the sun, we're living, it's different. It's different. We see all of us.
Honestly, a lot of Black people don't realize that. A lot of Black people don't realize that.
And I think unless a lot of foreigners, they don't know, but there's a lot of respect that should be given to the Black American. But even with that being said, there's those forces that has got us so apart and got us not being able to connect, because counterparts, they figure it out way easier than we do.
Well, it goes back to something Nicole and I have, and we've discussed this on our regular episodes, and it actually goes back to colonization. No matter where we were, it was what we were taught to do with each other and how we had to approach each other, how our families, how we had to approach family, how we had to approach love, how the black man and the black woman were pent against each other when dealing with colonization, how the black woman was the
But
main
we were still getting,
character.
but we were still getting married during the slavery. I think that things got worse since civil
Yeah.
rights. We was getting married during slavery. During all this times we were getting married. It's this last couple of years to the point. This is the lowest rate. I shared this with a friend of mine. This is the lowest. When we were growing up, our marriage rate was in the 80%.
Yeah.
Now it's 40%, 30%, and declining.
We talked about that, didn't we? We talked about
Yes,
how
we did. But also people are more evolved these days.
we married for security. We married for certain things because
There's nothing wrong with marrying for security.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Listen, and here's why.
That's actually how you build wealth.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Listen to why we had to marry for security then. You have to remember at one point, not just black women, but women, period, could not own houses without a man.
Yeah.
Women could not have bank accounts.
Kamie, I understand.
It was until 1974.
I understand the woman part, but for me right now, because we're in the worst shape, is black women. I'm not worried about
what I'm saying. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is you said in certain times and in certain days there was more marriage, there was more relationships, I guess more togetherness is what you were trying to say.
All I'm saying is the numbers, the hard numbers shows it.
Yeah, but we need to put
but I need you to understand why things
we didn't have the choice but getting married. You know?
So that's what I'm saying to you is yes, you have higher numbers of marriage back then because there were no choices for us but to get married. We were told, like when you just said
you're a woman, you're supposed to get married. What choice is there?
No, what you're supposed to? Hell the fuck no. Hell the fuck no.
You're married. You're supposed to be a man and a woman. You're supposed to get married.
I'm a woman. Do I want to get married? Yes. Am I supposed to get married?
Is a woman not supposed to be made for a man?
Yeah, because that's just like you said, women were supposed to get married because we didn't have a bank account. We couldn't buy a house. Women were able to get a bank account on their own in 1974. That's not so long ago.
Right. So hold on.
Yeah. So that means my mother, our grandmother didn't have a choice.
What you guys are saying is when you got a choice, you went rampant.
Thank you. You got a choice. Look where we at now.
We had a choice.
When you get a choice.
You are supposed to be a man's helpmate.
No, the thing that you don't realize is that
I like this guy.
People are more
let us know how you feel.
People are more evolved now. So am I gonna be married for the sake of being married? No, because after all, I'm nobody's maid. I'm not having another child. No.
Fine.
No. If I want to be in a partnership, I want to be with someone that is with whom I am equally yoked. And too many, and I saw this around me with my parents and stuff. My mom was. It's not that my parents were not capable. It was really the construct of the time. You're getting married, you popping kids, and people have other expectations now. And it's okay. But people shouldn't be married. People should have the right to choose how they want to live their life and what type of partnership they want to partake in. But just being married for the sake of being married, fuck no. Excuse my French here.
What I'm saying is, if a woman is choosing a partner, she has to be a helpmate. That's
something totally different. If I'm choosing to be in a relationship with you, if I'm choosing to be in a marriage with you, then I'm choosing to take on the role as a wife. Oh, you know you shouldn't have said that to me. You know you shouldn't have said that to me.
Don't see me, Cam. Come on now. You know how we do.
You know. What were your words to me about relationships?
Listen. Women are supposed to be.
No. What were your words?
We don't put supposed to, women and supposed to afterwards. That's not the right sentence.
What were your words to me about me and relationships?
Remind me.
What did you say? You said relationships are a distraction for me.
For you, absolutely.
Yes. So that is because in a relationship, I do what I'm supposed to do in relationships, right or wrong.
I can't speak to that fact. What I do know is you lose yourself in relationships. Now, that may be because
and there's nothing wrong with that because you're supposed to be the neck and not the head in a relationship. So
but if it's for the right relationship, of course, lose yourself because you have found value in this particular man, this particular purpose. However, you don't choose correctly. Historically, I will support you if you found the right guy. You know I would.
Go on.
That's funny. He said historically.
However, if I'm on my purpose and I'm on my way, you are not supposed to distract me. You're supposed to be my peace.
That is true.
I'm not supposed to, what are we doing? If we're going back to the basics, Nicole said, my people, my mom, my grandmom didn't have a choice. The minute women got choices, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, we didn't live to your expectations. That's why you're mad. That's why you're mad.
And then what's funny is women are kind of, they play this both sides of the fence. They cry, oh, with this independence. And once you give it to them, they be like, oh, they want to be taken care of. And all this independence all this independence. You got all the independence in the world now. Like, what are we talking about?
So listen.
There's videos on YouTube all day. Women don't need no men. They independent. They making six figures, but they want a man to pay for everything. But the thing is, fucking matter if you want a dude to come in and do everything. You can't be a boss bitch and say you want a nigga to do everything. You can't be a boss bitch and be submissive.
And all I have to
that's the part. That's the part.
Let me finish this statement before you ladies have at it. Let me say one thing. The only thing you have, please, I just want you to take a look at and tell me this if you do find it. What other counterpart has this thing in them where their women walk around with this mindset? It's on, and why? And don't tell me. And I don't want to hear black women have to be strong. I get and I hear all that, but and the only reason
I want you to define the mindset. What I mean by that is I want you to tell me the mindset that you think a black woman holds that no other culture or counterpart holds. And the reason I'm asking you to define that is because what I usually hear from men is that black women don't know how to be submissive, which for me, I'm going to have to disagree, and I'm going to have to say it in a different way.
It's not even really, it's collectively the submissive. For me, the bigger part is the compromise, and just as big a part is the correction. Right.
So
and then these are part. If you really have a man who really is the definition of that's what comes along with him. And it's not, and it's not a form because when sometimes people hear these things, they trigger it's control. It's not even along those things. Because a true man, he doesn't control. It's there for a bigger purpose of protection and guidance and influence, right? But if you have a woman who's a boss and that don't compromise and can't critique, what are we talking about?
Now, I'm going to say this, that I do agree with, because what I do believe is that regardless of what you call yourself or how you act or what you want to be labeled as, I feel like with the right man or the right guidance or the right person in your life, a woman naturally becomes submissive.
But hold up, I have a
And
problem.
I think the problem that people have is
Cam, hold up. I got a problem with that because that's like a dude saying, with the right woman, with the right woman, I'm masculine.
you
You think
what?
you feminine or you
No.
have a
So what
problem
I
with
mean
the
by that
you
is,
saying with the right
you know how you just told me I habitually choose the wrong men.
yeah,
You know how you just said that?
yeah.
Okay. So if my choice in men are wrong, I'm not submitting to those men. And those men, that's the reason I have conflict with those men, because those men don't know how to lead me or
Why
don't know how to, huh?
why entertain them in the first place?
But that goes back to what Nicole said.
Loving yourself.
Yes.
Nicole, you ding, 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 ding.
You know,
It
and
all,
that's
yeah, it
and
all,
that's the thing. When you start really
yeah.
understanding who you are and loving yourself, first of all, you don't ask anybody to submit to yourself. The only person I'm submitting is
Well, see,
God over there.
let me say this. Let me say
That's
this.
the thing.
A lot of people take one line out of the Bible without reading the entire passage.
Exactly. Thank you.
And
Because
Nicole,
it is not, and let me say this, it is not so much so that a woman should submit to a man, but we should both be actually submitting to each other and submitting to God in our
yeah.
relationship.
amen.
Nicole,
With
and I
that
think,
being said, what I mean when I say submissive is
I don't agree with
women,
that.
women who play the, who know how to,
Hold up.
who know how to be a partner, who know
Are
how
you saying
to,
answer? Hold up. Are you saying that we should submit to each other? How is that possible? I
Of
submit
course it
to
is
God.
possible.
No, it's
Let
not.
me say
No, it's not. I submit to
no,
God.
it is. Let me say this. Let me say this.
Order, God,
We
man, woman.
in a couple, the man is in his masculine self, and the woman should be in her feminine. But for a woman to be able to go along with the man and to be walking by his side, she needs to feel safe. She needs to feel secure. This man need to be standing his ground and be what he say he is. But
Okay.
a lot of you want us
How
to
is that?
submit, but we're
How,
submitting to what? We
how is
submitted
that
to what?
supposed to
It's
be a woman?
chaos around you. Why are we submitting to chaos? The thing for a woman, we need to feel secure and safe.
The
And there's
proper
not
order
going
is
to be
God, man, and woman.
any
Nicole.
type of working together if we are not at that level.
Yo, Nicole. God, man, woman. Man is not supposed to. Man is not built or supposed to submit to women. That's
It's
not
not
how
about
God is.
submitting.
Didn't
It's
your
let
not
me say
about
this.
submitting, because
Let me say
sometimes
this.
in a
I think
relationship there's going to be give and take. I should
yes, a
say
give and take.
give
And
and
let me
take.
say this. I think
yeah.
submitting
different
is a
than
little
submit?
strong. I think we're thinking
I
along the lines
agree.
of bending the knee. It's a
Yeah, I was gonna say
compromise.
if
You
you
have to
take, you
it,
use another word for the word
yeah,
submission or
because
submit.
I've learned I've had a one thing I've learned, in relationships, in order for a woman to be submissive, you have to be submissive as a man. And
Yeah,
not submissive as being less of a man. You have to be submissive
Exactly.
where you have to be willing to listen to what she's saying
Absolutely.
And be vulnerable. And be
yeah,
vulnerable.
yeah.
But
and
that's not
she'll
submission.
reciprocate that, and a true woman will reciprocate that in being her with her natural feminine
That's
energy,
not
and
submission.
that'll be
I agree
the
with that, but that's not
submission.
submission.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
submission.
So we're gonna take the word submissive off the table, because what I've learned is that word triggers a lot of people, both a lot
Yeah,
of women and men.
Mm.
yeah,
Okay, that's
it
a
does.
trigger word. It's a trigger word. I'm already there
Because
with
women always automatically think like
Not a
they're gonna
trigger
be in
word. Men are
shackles,
submissive to
and
God. Women are submissive to man. I don't understand how we fucking order up. God, man, woman. Men are not supposed to be submissive to women.
So in order to
Yeah,
be a good leader, you got to be a good follower.
I listen.
exactly.
I had this conversation with my girl. She's listening now. I will always I have to consent her counsel.
Yeah.
Right? That does not mean she doesn't have a voice in this relationship. I have to hear her out. She serves that purpose. She sees shit that I don't see. I have to accept her counsel. Now, yes, I may have the final say as the man, but I cannot
And that's exactly where the problem lies. You having the final say and not having a consensus with your partner. This is where the problem is.
I just said I have to seek her counsel.
Well, Nicole,
out. But yes, I do have the final say.
I'm just looking at you boys. I'm just
you
looking
ever
at
hear
you.
the saying, the man is the head and the woman's the neck?
Right? It's not so much that. It's like for example, you're having a company, right? You're having a company. It's a 500 fortunate company. So in order to make things work, not everybody gonna always be right, but for the sake of the company, we're moving as one.
Who's the CEO?
That's the thing.
Who's the CEO?
Yeah. But the majority shareholder could disrupt all of that.
I'm not talking about the shareholder.
Disrupt all of that.
The CEO is doing, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, but the CEO and the board make the final decision. Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. It is because we need to be able to hear each other.
I think that's a trigger for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I do. The word is a trigger. Yeah.
But I think for me, compromise is better. There has to be a lot of compromise between us.
Absolutely,
and we have to be in that position to do that. But where we come in with certain personas and stuff like that, it makes it difficult. And another thing that makes it difficult is people's tribes, women's supporting cast. Men, and I tend to say women use women a lot because men tend to run so lone wolves.
No.
And then women usually are in packs, and they usually have bad congregation groups that give each other bad
y'all got them kind of groups.
Bad advice.
It's a lot of men that have them kind of groups. There are a lot of men who have motorcycle gangs, who have all of those different types of clubs and
that's the truth.
Situations and groups where they run to. You got your friends, your core group of friends that you run to that listen to you when something going wrong. They your hype men. You got those same people. You got your yes man. You got your no man. You got your man.
Cam, we don't do that.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, I'm just gonna straight out say that.
What's the type of man? I don't have those kind of. My friends are very honest with me. I want to keep people very honest.
Y'all got friends that hype y'all up and tell y'all, oh no, she wrong in this, or this, that, and the third. You guys have the same. I have seen it.
Me too. So I'm like, yeah, right. It cracks me up.
In my last relationship, I've had male friends as him that told me it's my fault.
And I get it. That's why I said you got your yes men and your no men. So in every tribe, you got the same thing. So like in my tribe of people,
no, that's not what men do.
Yeah, y'all do. Y'all got a hype man. Y'all got a hype man that buddy that.
Women have aunties. They have great aunties. They have cousins, daughters, grandmothers, and they all think the same. And you gotta. It's hard. If you're trying to,
that is not true, is it, Nicole? That's not true. That's not true at all. And the reason I can tell you that's not true is there have been times that we have all gathered on these calls, and if somebody is wrong, we tell them why they're wrong, and we tell them that they are wrong. It is not that we all think the same. As a matter of fact, we are around each other because we all have different thought processes. The women I grew up with, my aunts, my cousins, we don't think the same. We don't even act the same.
No, that's an exception to the rules there.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
normally
Yeah,
what
but
the
that's like we need to be careful with the generalities, like thinking that every woman think the same way. No, we're not. We're not.
Yeah, we don't. We
We're
don't. We don't.
definitely not. We're definitely not.
We don't.
We
And
like
we
to
don't
have a
sit around and have yes man hating circles. We don't do that. That's not something we
mm-mm.
do. If you're
No.
wrong for something that you're doing in your relationship, we
We'll be
tell
honest.
you you're wrong.
there's
We're gonna be
always
honest
exceptions
tonight.
to the rules.
We're gonna
Mm-mm.
be honest tonight. Men check men. Men have honest. Yo, bro,
Mm.
you're on some bullshit. You're gonna lose that woman. You
Now
tripping.
I've heard those conversations too.
Yeah.
But y'all also, that's why I said y'all got the same kind of tribe we got. Y'all got those same conversations where y'all got people that tell you all the truth, that call you on your bullshit, that tell you when you wrong. But you also have those hype men. You have those men that's gonna tell you that, every time she do something, she wrong and that you right. You got that too, just like we have that. But when
Men
you're
don't have
wanting
that.
to hear an honest opinion, you
Men
know who to go to.
Cam, men don't have that. We
Dewan, let me just say this. Say you don't have that. Say you don't have it.
Sanchez just said he didn't have it either.
Well, guess what? Just like Sanchez said, it's exceptions
don't
to
have
every rule. Okay.
Yeah, you come with your own phrases.
Listen,
So with all this being said, right? What's the first step in the right direction?
Work. Start with working on yourself. It starts there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think a lot of healing comes with self-healing. I think a lot of healing comes with being honest with self about who we are, how we see self, how we deal with self, and then taking that self-healing and that self-love to the community. And I think that's how we have to approach this, because here's the thing. As a woman, I can't tell you as a man what you need to work on and what you need to do to heal yourself. I've not had the same experiences as you. I've not lived the same life as you. I've not, walked the same path as you. So I can't tell you what your healing looks like. But what I can do, and I can't fix you, but what I can do is I can love you along the way. You understand? And I think that's where we get very confused, or we get very, it gets a little muddy with us. We forget to lead with love in a lot of situations. And that's just what it is. Why you laugh?
And I think we also on both sides need to tell the other party what they could do better, the correction. What does that look like? Because we can't keep going on this Ferris wheel and just looking at how this younger generation just looking at this younger generation from afar and how they interact with each other and what they're gonna have to deal with, and top of whatever we're gonna leave with them that they have to deal with. So it's like
a lot of what people deal with is familiar and intergenerational trauma. When that's where the sort of self-healing comes in place. Is you have to, I think a conversation was had where we were saying you have to unlearn a lot of the stuff that you learned growing up. You got to be able to grow. Like a lot of the things that you were taught by your parents. It goes the same way when it goes with nutrition. It goes the same way when it goes with financial studies. It goes the same way when it goes with your mental health. These are all things that you were initially taught by your parents. And they were
that's
taught.
Part of the problem. A lot of people, they have parents.
That's that's what I was getting ready to go back to.
The world taught them.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's passed down through generations. So if you are one of those people who did not have a family and you learn through survival, so that's different than somebody who learned from a parental household. So you got a lot of things that you have to unlearn, a lot of things that you need to relearn. And that goes for both parties, those that were raised with parents and those that were raised without parents. There's a lot. That's where when we say self-healing needs to come first. it definitely starts there. And then
Yeah,
you
because when you can see the pattern of your family, you're gonna be able to see what is applying to you. You know, like
yeah,
really observing my parents and really reflecting on their relationship was really a big thing in my healing. It really helped. It really helped understand the decision that I had taken as a woman, as a young woman, because I left my family and I went to the United States so I could be away from my parents. So that says everything it needs to say, you know. So it's just once you start understanding your family history and everything, and that you really understand the impact of colonialism on your family, the way that you were living, your thinking, it is a big awakening moment. At least I know it was for me, because God, that really helped me put things in perspective a lot for my parents. I give a lot of credit to my parents. It wasn't easy growing up with them, but they did the best they could, because God didn't had all the best cards in their bags in order to have a good life, you
yeah,
know.
but and I agree with you on that, Nicole. But to get back to what Sanchez was saying about, how do we fix this moving forward? What do we do? And it really does start with self. It starts at home.
Yep,
It
that's
starts
what I see. Yeah,
with respecting self, respecting other people's opinions, respecting, learning how to communicate, learning how you communicate. What's the best way that you are communicated with?
mm,
And being able to communicate that to a partner or to a friend, not even just like we have to learn. Nicole and I have to learn how to, have a relationship with each other as well. So more
yep.
so just across the lines of all relationship building.
Really, it's just, the more that you get to know yourself, the better you manage your emotions, the better you communicate, the better you understand things. You have how can I say this? You become more accurate about your life and who you are and your boundaries, what you're willing to accept or not. There's a lot of things, it's like you open a big window and suddenly you start understanding things. It's like you were having a puzzle and all the things were in the air, and once you start healing, things like start clicking together and you understand. It's really the analogy that I can make with that, but it definitely starts with self. It really starts there.
And by self, if you want to use this in a bigger context, I mean, as a Black community, it has to start with healing from us within.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Mm,
yeah, like we have to address those things that we're still dealing with on a regular
absolutely.
basis. The things that we seem to keep pushing down but keep erupting, and a lot of it again has to do with colonization, the way we came through that transatlantic route, the way we were in slavery, the way things were presented for us. We've got to heal, and we've got to start forgiving each other. We've got to learn how to, again, one of the things I keep saying is communicate with each other in a way that we feel heard. And by we, I mean men and women feel heard, feel seen, feel valued, feel understood, and feel loved.
Mm,
And this listening to you talk, I found it funny. We're asking for so much compromise and compassion, and then I'm looking at this generation who's so self entitled.
Yeah, but
that's the
It's like we're like,
yeah.
who's gonna make this correction? They so self entitled. They think that everything. I don't know how they gonna figure out life when they become adults
can I ask
because
you a question? Do you
They'll
think
figure it
that
out.
that comes with age, or do you think that that's just this generation? The reason why I say that is because are we not our aunts and our uncles right now? Are we not the same ones who, when we were younger, they were
Mhm.
saying similar things about us not understanding, about
no,
us.
it's different. It's different.
Yeah,
It's different.
it is.
These younger generation, they're really under the mirage of that things are equal. that dream was never sold to us. We
Okay,
always had,
so
there was always a struggle.
okay,
There was always
that's
a
what I want.
grit from us, our aunts, our uncles. We on this, like, these kids are really under the illusion like things are fair, like it's all good, like
We
we're on the
fucked
same
that up.
page. Like they really don't
So
understand
I'm
the
gonna say this.
machine. And let me say this, and unfortunately for them, they don't understand the wave of technology that's really about to come their way, that they're gonna have less time to react to it than when we did, because they don't understand what that's gonna look like for them. Because as you know, our counterparts is 10 steps ahead of the game. So it's like they're gonna have to deal with that and emotional intelligence and trying to unite the black people. That's a lot for them. And then
Yeah, but the thing that I can say about the new generation though is that there are a lot of them are in therapy, which we were not at their age.
Yeah.
A lot of them haven't taught the work though. We were
A
brought
lot
up.
of them what? I can't hear you.
We were brought up on hard work.
Yeah.
We were not.
Yeah.
We were not.
So
Yeah, we were the generation we had to figure it out.
my
We had
cousin
to
and
figure it
I,
out by
we had a
ourselves.
conversation over the holidays about our kids and about each generation of these kids and how this younger generation they don't have the same fears and respects that we had when we were growing up. And one of the things that we talked about was the fact that we started working when we were 14 years old. So I started working. I had a job at Bruno's. You remember Bruno's, Dewan?
Yeah.
I had a job at Bruno's when I was 14 years old, and I've been working ever since. But these kids didn't have to have work permits. Because there were no jobs available for them when they came around. Like,
now that we saved them, Candy. We said when we got old enough, when we did better enough, we moved them out of the environments that made us who we were, right?
Yeah, because we tried to provide something better than what we were raised in.
Right, so they don't know the struggle. They don't know what that is. We shielded that from them.
No, they know because they saw us.
No.
No, they didn't see it. They don't understand.
No, if your kid was with you,
so I'm gonna give this
talk
to you.
about my child.
I hear you guys what you're saying, but I'm gonna tell you from a single mother perspective. From a single mother perspective, my child saw the struggle, and I think that's what Nicole is saying as well. My child saw the struggle. My child saw, but on the flip side of it, because of where I come from, my child also saw the spoil. He saw the gain. He saw all of that as well. So it was almost like a dual life.
We didn't have that. That's what I'm saying. No matter what we did, our offspring had something different to go on.
They had a million times better.
Huh?
They did.
Those like our offsprings. I don't have any kids, but that generation, they had a million times better than we did. A million times better than we did.
Are we not? We are our uncles. We are our aunts. We are those people.
Say the person who have no kid. No.
Listen, I grew up during the crack era. I grew up doing.
I was living in New York during that time. What are you talking about, sir?
These kids don't even know what it's like to walk down a pissy hallway. They have no concept of
They know. They go to public school. They go to public school. They know what it smells like.
Cam.
Yeah, it's not a difference.
Now they don't know what Wayne Williams.
Ain't one kid scared of Wayne Williams other than us. They don't know.
They don't know nothing. But see, they got their own fears. They got their own.
Listen,
not having.
I heard something the other day that really had me thinking, like, how much different these kids are from. This man was like, when I was growing up, I used to go to emergency room during the summer. All I seen was little kids with broken bones and cashes and stitches. He's like, when's the last time you seen a little kid with a cast on? With some stitches. They don't even go out and adventure life and go do stuff like that. They so sheltered. They in the house playing. They don't want to go outside. They want to stay in the house playing video games. And that's why when somebody says something to them, they get traumatized. because they don't have any social skills. They're in the house playing video games all day. But and I'm just saying this, they don't compare to us. Like we weren't diagnosed. They don't compare to us. We were built different. They said they're soft.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
No. Making an assessment like that, it's not. It's not okay. Judging people being soft is not okay. It's not okay in my book.
Wait a minute, Nicole, because my son did say the same thing. My son is soft. My son is 25, and he did say. He said, "Mama, we are a whole lot softer than y'all were."
I see this comedian outside 2 days ago.
This comedian kid.
Listen, it was no kids out, no bikes, no skateboards, no remote control. Where the fuck were the kids on Christmas Day? It was a ghost town every fucking year. These kids are soft. They're in the house. They're in
the house. My nephew, he's 14 years old. He's about 6 feet tall, right? And I talk to him all the time, like, what are you doing? I'm in the house playing. I'm like, you're not playing basketball. You're not doing nothing. You're not out there. Just like, you just 6 feet tall, 15. Like, you're not having no fun. Like, they just different. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. They just different. They're a little more timid than we are.
No, call it out as bad, Sanchez.
They different. It's just. And then one comedian kid, he was like, it was a comedian, and I wish I had the clip. He was just talking about, he sees there's a huge disconnect from uncles and for his generation. He was like, because our uncles think everything we do is gay. And he was like, what else do you want from us? We was raised by a bunch of women. Of course we're gonna be a little zesty. It was just like, and then the bigger picture, how screwed up we are. Anyway, because that shouldn't be the case. Nicole, we're not generalizing, it's just from my observation. So please don't get upset with us.
I'm not getting upset. I'm just don't use terms
even my own nephew, my nieces. I see what's going. I see how they are. My nephew. I got another nephew. He's 9 years old. He's 5'8". He want to play video games all day. He don't want to do. He's 5'8". He's 9 years old. He want to play video. To me, it's like, you want to go outside? You want to see nobody? You want to hang out no friends? Anyway, this is different generation. It's different.
It is a different generation.
But in all honesty, what they see as far as relationships go is what we have modeled for them. What they see as far as intimacy goes is what we have modeled for them. Just like everything else that we've modeled for them.
And then to you parents, it's a beautiful thing because you did make life a little bit better. I mean, way better, but it's almost to the detriment because it's giving them a false narrative what's really out there and how cold and rough and mean and horrible the world is. It's not like that. It's not. Nobody's gonna talk nice to you. It's just life. I don't know.
I don't know, because my son didn't live that sugar-coated life. Like, you know, we struggled for a bit.
There's one kid, Cam.
And I'm saying the simple interaction things, like when I was growing up, everybody got made fun of. It was somebody's turn somewhere, and we just dealt with it and build character. You move on. Stuff like that nowadays traumatize these kids, and I understand it's on a different level. And it wasn't until I heard something they were like, it's different nowadays because, you know, back in the days it stopped when you left school. Nowadays it's consistent because the social media follows them home and they can still get bullied. But still, no, to me, back in the days, bullying was somebody punching you in your face every day, not cracking jokes on you. It was just different.
Yeah, but it was different, but it doesn't mean it was good.
No, it wasn't good.
Like, you know,
that's part of
better now.
Being bullied is real.
Are you saying it's better now, Nicole?
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it is different, but I'm saying that people also are not prompt to accept violence, whether it is verbal or whether it is physical.
Yeah. And I guess maybe I'm looking at it from I would have rather choose what these kids are dealing with because it's not really nothing to me and what we dealt with when we grew up. The obstacles we had to overcome. Like, it was just crazy. Like, we had the movies we grew up was in colors. These kids have what? Disney, Captain America, stuff like that. They don't have no movies like Colors, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, because it was but this is
Jack
this
City.
is the
These are the movies we
reflection
grew up
of,
on.
yeah, but this is the reflection of violence
Yeah,
also. Like,
yeah.
popping a gun and putting it in its people's face, that's violence. Hello.
So
That's not the way we should be. We
So
should
let
be
me ask
raising
you a
any
question
kid.
then. It's funny that you raised that point, that both of you guys have said this about the way kids were raised then versus
Yeah,
now.
like with the
That is,
violence,
we just had a
markers.
discussion about relationships and the failure of relationships and relationships with people our age versus relationships with these kids now. Do you like, let's look at everything as a whole, society, the movies, the way we were raised, the way things were going then versus now, and look at relationships and redefining intimacy and the way intimacy is formed. Is it because of all of those things, the way we were raised and how we approach relationships versus the way we've raised our kids and how they approach relationships?
You'll repeat that?
Would you say?
You say repeat that?
Okay, so I said we just had a discussion about the way kids were raised and about how the generation is different now than we were. And what
Yeah.
I stated was the topic of tonight is about redefining intimacy and relationships. The way we approach relationships is based on how we were raised, the things we saw, what we were around. And the way our kids approach relationships is how they were raised, the things they saw, and what they were around. So what I'm asking you is versus how we were raised versus how we raised our kids, look at the difference in those relationships. Look at the difference in the way we handle relationships versus the way our children handle relationships. What differences, like what do you see the differences, or do you see any correlations, or do you understand the reason why they may handle relationships differently than the way we handle them?
No, because I don't see them handling me personally. No. Okay. If you talking about our kids, my kids are 28 and 30, right? A lot of 28 and 30-year-old people are misinformed. We are talking about we
So let me ask you a question. You said a lot of 28 and 30-year-old people are misinformed. Who
look,
What do you
informed
mean by misinformed?
look,
Yeah, who informed them?
hold up. We just ended the conversation by saying our kids, the kids that we raised, are different from us. So clearly they are going to handle things different from us because they are not in the environment that we grew up in. We put them in different environments. They see the world differently, right? They are navigating on their own based on whatever tidbits they got from us, but they don't have the tools or the skills that we had, nor did we pass them down. We took them out of the environment that we were in, that we needed those tools in, and put them in a new environment. They don't need those tools anymore, or they technically never really did. They were in a new environment. They're figuring out their own shit. They didn't. We didn't raise our kids the way we were raised.
So the relationships that we the way we approach relationships is because of how we were raised. So
Absolutely.
technically it's our fault on
Yeah,
how children approach relationships.
yeah.
I'm gonna put that on us. Yeah, I'll put that on us because we didn't give them the skills. There was no need because they were no longer in the same environment that we grew up
We didn't give them the skills because we didn't have them. Hello.
in. Not even that.
Hello. We
Listen,
didn't have them. Our parents didn't provide them for us. We didn't
Yeah.
have them. We couldn't give something that we didn't get.
And I think, and to answer that question, I think we just passed on the same issues we had. It's just a different variation.
We
Hello.
Yeah,
did. That's what I was. That's
passed on the
all
same
I'm
issues.
getting at is the
Yeah.
fact
If
that
we if we
it's
lived in the hood and then we moved out the hood, it was
We actually we actually might have gave him a worse situation because
we
when we were
did.
growing up,
We did.
the way the marriage rate percentage was a lot higher.
I
We're
think
giving them
we harmed our
40% now.
I think we harmed our kids because that environment
Yeah.
helped us survive. We
At
took
least when we growing up,
to a better situation. There was no need for them to have the survival skills we had. We
yeah.
wasn't teaching that.
At least when we was growing up, we had basic like natural survival skills. It's like just like yeah, we was in the trend. Like they're a little bit more sheltered, so they're gonna have to get over their emotional stuff, then conquer whatever the other issues are. But yeah. But at the end of the day, I do agree with the ladies. It starts at home. That's where it's gonna have to start.
Yeah.
Those little micro, and just hopefully everybody will come together and figure it out.
Yeah. And let's remember that when we were having our kids, nobody gave us like
Yeah.
an how-to on parenting and what to do and how to raise emotionally balanced kids. We
And
have books about it now.
let
But
me just say this:
when I was growing up,
Nicole and myself both were teen moms.
And then
So,
growing up in our generation, that was a huge epidemic. Teen pregnancy. I remember that was like
So we not only were we raising our children, but we were figuring out life itself for us.
I was 20 when I had Alison.
We were just trying to figure out our emotions, our lives, because like I tell people often, I went from being someone's daughter to being someone's mom. So for me, it was never a in between. It was never a moment for Cammy or anything like that. So my son was the most important thing to me until he got grown. And then, like now, I'm still learning how to communicate with him. I'm still trying to make sure that, he's okay. But these are things that you learn as a parent. And with growth and with time, these are also some of the things that you pass down to your children when it comes to relationships.
Yep, exactly. How to talk to your kids, how to relate to them, and especially not replicating what you have lived as a child. The issues that we had with my child were different, but they were really correlating to my relationship with my parents. What I didn't heal, I wasn't able to present a healed version of myself to my child.
Yeah. So my sister and I had a conversation very similar to that, where we said we raised our children and gave them what we did not have. So we overindulged on love. We overindulged on coddling. We overindulged on those things because those were the things we did not grow up with.
Yeah, and Sanchez, as a Caribbean person, your parents don't tell you they love you.
No,
your parents don't tell you they love you.
No, but
my mom started telling she loves me like the last 5-10 years, maybe.
What if you're American?
She's 87 now.
And another thing, Caribbean parents, they make it very clear. And then it's been difficult for me in my relationships because with love is conditional. Well, at least for me, my experience, it's conditional. It's not for free.
Yeah. and that's the thing.
So when I now in my last relationship, it was just like the expectation, like I had this endless pot of love. And it was just like, for what? Like, that's not part of love. Love is this. It comes with a price tag.
That is because we are not taught unconditional love.
No,
because unconditional love does not mean I'm gonna be agreeing with you all the time.
All the
I'm going
time.
to love you, but I'm also going to tell you when things are not gelling,
And then Caribbean parents, they have a wonderful way of letting you know you're going to do X, Y, and Z. If not, this is what's going to happen. And they're going to stick to their guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
I see it with my parents, I see it with my parents.
you guys are Caribbean, Sanchez, you Haitian, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Davis, how are you Caribbean?
Oh, my parents are from Martinique.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Martinique, yeah, in the Caribbean.
That's in the French Caribbean.
That's the French Caribbean, and they came into France like in the 1965 actually to get married and have their family there. So yeah, so there's something special about growing up Caribbean. It was often really rough. Jesus.
Not for the faint at heart, I tell you that.
Ooh, Lord.
The verbal abuse. That's why people be like, "Oh, I like the verbal abuse." Growing up, I thought my name was Little Monkey. T. Makak. My mom used to call me Little Monkey. I thought that was my name.
Oh wow! Wow, that's wild.
I'm not.
But at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world because the commitment has also been a hindrance because I've never been able to find a woman to commit to me to that. It's unwavering, even though it was conditional.
Yeah, but that's the thing that you need to heal.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you need to heal, and you'll see once you've done that work, you'll see things in a whole new perspective, and you will feel freer.
How you know I haven't done that work already, Nicole? How you know I haven't done that work already?
In the way you talk. I'm not saying that you're not doing it, but there's still a few steps that you need to. Yeah.
What if I feel like I've done enough and anything more than this, I won't be.
Listen. The thing that I've understood those past years is that in order for me to really live the life that I want to live, I have to be an eternal student.
Yep.
I have to become an eternal student so I can understand myself better, so I can understand the world around me, so I can understand my kid better. And it's a journey that I'm willing to take so I can be a better person. Because as soon as you stop learning, you become stagnant. And I don't want that for my brain, not for my spirit. Yeah, that's the thing that I promised myself to keep pushing.
Nicole, man, how old are you?
I'm 58.
Okay, here you
go. I have a question for you guys, and this is interesting.
You're having the evil laugh.
Oh. Do you think we're too focused on monogamy as a way to achieve intimacy?
Where'd that come from?
Was one of her questions.
Oh, is
it? Yeah. Monogamy is, I've come to realize, is between the two people that's necessary. In this world that we're living in, that's something case by case. As far as what you define it, because it's important to me. Monogamy is definitely because I don't want to share my other person.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm with you on that.
Monogamy I'm not. I'm at that age. I'm too old to be sharing, and I'm not interested in sharing.
No, so, I don't want to share myself. I feel like I'm to the point like I don't want to share. I don't want to share. If I have somebody, I wouldn't want to share myself.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like at some point, don't you get tired of just spreading yourself around? Like at some point, don't you say,
But it is already a lot of work to be committed to just one person. Like having two, three, like.
I'm not like with one person. I got to remember everything about you. I got to do all of this stuff. There is no way that I'm gonna be able to do that and be the best that I can be.
sound lazy.
Shut the fuck up.
It was
So, Dewan, do we have some play here? Dewan, like,
no,
I want to know
The one said
because
his girlfriend was sitting right there listening, so he better be careful on what he say, okay?
I am not a player, Nicole. No, I do not have the time, patience, or energy.
yeah, no, it just working
for
on
some
one
folks,
relationship is
for
enough
some
work
people.
already.
But I've seen some people out there. That's why you have to be clear as far as what the relationship looks like for the both of you. Because some people, that Atlanta's. I have not lived anywhere else where I've seen where the marriage thing doesn't really matter. On both sides, the women play just as hard as the men do. I've lived in a lot of few places. I've lived in Vegas for 10 years, and then
Okay.
so and Atlanta's worse. Atlanta's worse to me, in my opinion, as far as how people move around. So the monogamy is not there, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But plus, like it is when you're with just one person and you're doing your best to make it and to go together. There's some good stuff coming out of that. But I wouldn't want to be running the streets like with all the diseases these days. Oh hell no.
Like people have to be honest though. It's like no one
I agree.
wants to be
I
honest.
agree. Because if if you're gonna be play around, you gotta let
I can't
people
hear you.
know.
You got to speak up. What did you say?
No one wants to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what I said. No one
That's an
wants.
interesting statement, Dewan.
And another thing too, I've learned here in
Yeah.
Atlanta, and what's is very unique to me, married people let each other cheat in peace. I've noticed that. Married people, yeah, married, because I got homeboys, I got friends. The way they move is like, how could you move like that? And where's your wife? Oh, she's moving the same way. So y'all just letting each other cheat in peace because there ain't no way in hell.
But that's not healthy, though.
Let me say this. Okay, so check this out. We talked about two things tonight. We talked about the marriage rate, and we talked about why people got married. But what we did not talk about was why the marriage rate is the way it is, and why people are no longer staying married. So a lot of what you're describing right now would be why the marriage rate stayed the way it did in those days. Like my grandfather cheated in peace. My grandmother had boyfriends. So, but they were married to each other. Like, yeah, my uncle, it's some question whether or not my uncle is my granddad's child. And my grandmama and my granddaddy got 13 kids. So, yeah. So, but my granddaddy, I just found out my granddaddy had kids down the street.
That's not uncommon.
Oh, Lord.
Like it's really not. It's like that's not uncommon.
Yeah, that wasn't uncommon back then. That's just how they move.
Right.
Like where you think the song come from? Papa was a Rolling Stone.
I was thinking about that song.
We're gonna break down that question and say why are the marriages breaking down? Women are filing for divorce. Men don't file for divorce.
They're not staying no more. They're not staying in marriage just for the sake of staying in marriage.
Women are leaving.
It's not us.
Y'all are leaving. Y'all ain't happy. So y'all leaving. Y'all are breaking up.
It's not y'all are breaking up. It's just we realizing.
Dewan.
Yeah, no, Dewan. Yeah, no, we're gonna be on you tonight. It's not we're not happy and we all leaving. It's like we refuse to be living not the life that we deserve.
No, our happiness is not your problem. But guess what? My happiness is my problem. And if I'm not happy in that relationship, and that relationship keeps causing me pain, keeps causing me hindrance, it causes me to be in fight or flight mode.
Sir.
That's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. It's like y'all are quitting. Y'all are leaving.
Did you say?
Oh, because you say we're
You say
quitting, but we're
quitting?
supposed to stay here and
Like
we
we
stand your
supposed to
abuse?
stay and just
Oh, hell no.
take it?
Hold up. Who said anything about
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before you say anything, watch this. Before you say anything, let me ask you this. Would you have told me to stay in my last relationship?
Ooh.
in that situation? No. But Nicole.
Now, no. So when you say quitting,
Please stop. In your situation, absolutely not. Nicole just blanketly said, "I'm not gonna stay." No one said anything about abuse. What we saying is, I said this earlier, women are leaving because they are not happy.
and what I'm saying to you is, so my happiness, my happiness doesn't matter.
Fuck your happiness, Cam. Let
So
me say
okay,
it.
so now watch
Exactly my
this.
point.
Now watch this.
Exactly my point.
So you would have told me to stay.
You shouldn't have been fucking with that fat ass nigga.
You would have told me.
What he's saying is
no. Well, no. I'm hearing what he's saying, but you got to hear what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
You would have told me, fuck my happiness and stay and work it out.
Your happiness was not fucking with that nigga in the first place. Your happiness is doing right here, doing exactly what you're doing. This is your happiness. Tell me I'm lying. Nicole brought in abuse. No one said no one's being abused. I'm just saying that women tend to file for divorce and leave at an 80% clip.
He's right.
Hold up.
That's the truth. Because let me tell you something that you guys don't realize.
Wait, Nicole. Give me one second.
Just said that y'all happiness is not our responsibility. Just
so
like
I'm going to ask you again.
Let a nigga talk.
You just talk. Go ahead. Finish what you got to say.
I don't like the fact that Nicole said we ain't gonna stay doing y'all abuse. No one said you was being abused, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just want to stay happy. That's not our responsibility. Everyone's happiness is their own responsibility. Y'all are leaving for your own personal reasons. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. Y'all want to do what the fuck y'all want to do. Y'all now have choices, as Nicole said. So y'all are free to move how y'all want to move. That's not our fault.
And you seems to be pretty pissed off about it.
Nicole, wait.
I'm never pissed off. Hold on. Sanchez, they just weaponized me being animated and me bringing a point.
I haven't weaponized nothing. I got a
question now, right?
I got a question for you.
Nigga. No, they won't let a nigga speak. They've been dominating the conversation. As soon as I challenge their happiness, you must be really pissed about it.
No, Dewan, I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
You stay with questions.
Now, I hear. Let me start this out by saying this. I hear what you are saying. Okay, I heard you. I listened to you. I listen not to defend, but to actually listen. I listen to you. Okay.
Go ahead.
You know me. So I listened to you. I heard you out. I heard you out thoroughly. Now, I'm going to take this on a personal level because I need you to understand what you're saying and how this is reflected, okay? Now, when I asked you earlier, would you have told me the same thing? You said no.
No, it would not have.
Okay, but my question to you is, in this situation where I chose my happiness versus staying in a situation that kept me in fight or flight mode, that kept me hindered, that kept me, pouring love out to a person that wasn't pouring it back to me. So hold on, wait, can I finish? Was that me quitting on that relationship?
You shouldn't have been in the situation in the first place, Cammy. We talked about this. Stop playing victim.
I'm not playing victim. I'm not a victim in this situation at all. I'm asking you because we talked about that I shouldn't have been in the situation.
You know that you should not have been fucking with that dude. So now you're saying, based on the last situation that you know,
No, I'm asking you based on what your statement was that you just made.
It's skewed because you know that you weren't supposed to be fucking with that nigga. That nigga proved to you and the world that he meant you no good. So how are you gonna use this nigga as a template?
I'm not using
meant you no good. None. You weren't even supposed to share you weren't supposed to seek no kind of happiness in that situation. And you sought happiness in that situation. So here you go again, trying to validate the bullshit. No. You had no. Yes or no? Did you have any business fucking with that nigga? We live right now. Thank you. So that's a bum ass argument.
So I'm gonna say this to you, and I take accountability for certain things.
Thank you.
One of the things that I'm going to take accountability for is after learning what I learned. No, I shouldn't have stayed in the situation.
Okay, so why even bring that example up?
But what I'm asking you is, because of what you stated and because of your theory on things, is that something that you would have told me? Not because I shouldn't have been in that situation, but is that one of the, like, if I was telling you, Dewan, and we've had these conversations before, like, this ain't working for me, this and the third, I don't need to be in this relationship, I'm not happy here. At no point have you ever said to me, bitch, stick it out.
Because you was always fucking the wrong nigga.
Because it sounds like there's a difference from putting in the work and putting up with abuse and bullshit. So, I mean, and what he's saying is the statistics show that women divorce because they're unhappy. Now, there's a difference being unhappy or emotional state in abuse. Of course, you're not going to stay in an abusive relationship or where you're being mistreated, but something emotional is unhappy. That has to be more clarification. That's not a justification to get divorced. You're unhappy.
But Nicole did say abuse, and that's what Dewan was stating. Nicole did say abuse.
No, that's absurd. Any abusive situation, anybody, man or woman, should definitely remove themselves. Verbal, physical, anything.
Yeah, but we all know that there's plenty of people who are in abusive relationship and who do not leave. We find that once they're dead.
Yeah.
But Nicole, all four of us are having a general conversation. You brought abusing as if. Oh, so are we supposed to stay doing abuse? No one even brought abuse up.
Yeah, but because it happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what Nicole was saying.
Abuse happens to us too. That sounds like trauma. We are talking general. You are injecting something that didn't have to be injected.
No, what she was saying was,
because that's the case. Something that you don't realize is that a woman is more likely to be dead at the end of on head of her partner. That's the reality for us women. That you guys don't realize that violence is often on the other end of the stick for us.
Let me say this to you. Hold up. That's actually a two-way street, Nicole, because here in America, women do feel. They kill their partners as well.
Is that not extreme? Women kill niggas too. What the hell are we talking about, man?
Women kill people.
Yeah.
I don't understand why all of a sudden, now we're gonna shift it from intimacy to niggas killing bitches.
You put that in onto yourself, sir.
You said abuse, and then you just said murder, and you are victims of. No one said anything about that, Nicole. That's not what we talking
Nicole
about.
said you said that, sir.
Yeah, you said that, sir. Just let me give you just some facts here. One woman killed every 10 minutes.
It was about death and murder.
I rest my case.
Damn.
Okay.
One woman killed at the end of her partner every 10 minutes.
Let's talk about the women that put babies on.
I like facts, sir. I like facts. I like to study and I like facts.
Yo, listen. I'm real about
that is the truth. That is the truth. Because a lot of women, and even if it's not even about happiness anymore, it's just people don't want to stick into situations that make them unhappy and miserable.
So let me ask you a question, Ron. You say women leave when they're not happy, but women leave when they're not happy. Men cheat when they're not happy. So
men cheat when they are happy. Men cheat when they happy. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you, Cammy.
People cheat. I think at this stage in the game, we're pretty much even on that. Women cheat, men cheat, women cheat. Yeah, women cheat just as hard as men.
No. What I'm saying, what I was trying to get at is this: if women divorce for unhappiness and men cheat for unhappiness,
men cheat when they happy.
Come on.
I'm telling you, as a nigga that used to cheat.
Yeah, they don't need a reason to cheat.
No, I disagree. It's because you are not aware of your own emotions and your own discomfort. So you go ahead and stick it up with somebody else. That's not my fault. That's your fault.
Are we gonna be honest? Yo, Nicole, you have never cheated as a man, so you cannot tell men why they cheat. You ain't never went and got another piece of ass from another woman. So you can't tell men why the hell they cheat. You can't do that. No woman can.
Listen, I know for a fact that the man.
I have a question.
The man that is happy.
If you go get another piece of ass from another woman, you can tell a man why he cheat.
Huh? I didn't hear you.
Is that what you're saying?
I didn't hear you.
If you go get a piece of ass from another woman, you can tell a man why he cheat.
What I'm telling you is,
I'm just. You said that. Exactly. I just wanted to make sure. I was asking the question for clarification purposes.
Women cannot tell men why they cheat because y'all are not men.
No, listen.
That have nothing to do with it.
To the
have nothing to do with it. You're the recipient of it.
Yeah. But what I'm asking you is, and I'm going to go back to my original statement, and what I was trying to get at is you were saying that you put a lot of blame on women for when it comes to unhappiness.
That's what I'm hearing a lot.
No.
Let me finish the statement.
I didn't put any blame.
That's not what he said, Kami. He was saying that women, more women get divorced for the sole reason they're unhappy. I think that was
and that's what I was going at. So when I was saying that is what I'm saying in this situation is, and let me finish my statement all the way out, and don't say men just cheat. Just hear me out, okay?
Good.
If women get divorced when they're unhappy, and men cheat when they're unhappy, or as you state, men cheat, period. Doesn't that lead a lot to the unhappiness of the woman in the marriage?
No, it does not. It lends to the fact that women do not understand how men are wired. Point blank, period.
So I got a question.
Men have never been monogamous. Take the Bible. Men have never.
No. Let's say something. You never been monogamous. That's you.
No, man.
I just asked the question about polygamy. I just asked the question about polygamy.
Men choose to be monogamous. Women want niggas to be monogamous, and that's not how we are wired. That's not our
That's
DNA.
not how you're not wired.
You
Not all men is like you. Thank
speak
you,
for
sir.
yourself. Please speak for
No,
yourself.
because I know men who are monogamous, so I
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
The one you kind of lost me on that one. When I get married, I'm definitely gonna be. I'm not gonna cheat.
I understand what that man is saying. What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
men have never ever been monogamous. It's not in our nature.
That is not true. That is not true because you're not a representative of all men.
How are you gonna tell me my nature, Nicole? You are not a
Yeah,
man.
because you're not a representative of all men.
you're
I'm
not
not talking about women. I'm not talking about all women.
Can we go back to my original statement so I can get it out, please? Okay.
Can we please be honest tonight? Otherwise,
all right. So my question was, does that not lend to the unhappiness of the woman in the marriage?
What leads to the unhappiness of the woman is women not understanding who men are.
So let me ask you a question. So I'm supposed to be okay with my man cheating on me?
Your grandmother was, because you just said that you realized that she had.
Wow.
When have men ever been monogamous?
Wow.
Oh, I thought it was chance, but it was.
It's in the Bible.
No, sir, we're talking about you here. That's you. You never been monogamous. That's your problem. But don't put that on all men. Because let me tell you something. Because I am very lucky to have great friendships with great men. And something that I know for a fact is that a dude who is feeling good in his mind, in his life, and who is ready to stick it up with his woman will do what he has to do and will keep his thing into his pants. Because a good thing about a man who is truly in his masculine is
you cannot speak for a nigga with a dick, Nicole.
Let me ask you a question, Dewan.
You cannot
speak
wait. With a penis.
Dewan, define what cheating is.
Cheating is anything that go against whatever couple that. If you have a couple, you guys define what cheating is. You guys can have an open relationship. You guys.
No, if you have an open relationship where your partner knows exactly what's going on, that's something else.
Cheating,
but if that's not the case,
cheating is different for everybody.
No, cheating is cheating. That's sticking your dick in somebody else. That's what.
I agree with his statement. Cheating is depends on what defined in the relationship.
And that's okay. So what I want is I don't want, and yes, to attribute both of you, you are absolutely right, because when dealing with relationships and couples, you have to outline what that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Because one partner may think kissing is cheating and the other one may not. So.
And some people might think cheating is if I find out. If I don't find out, you don't find out, it's not cheating. I see people interact like that.
You find out or not. It's a question of being loyal or not.
The reason I'm asking you to define what cheating is because, and give me a general answer, and I'm not talking about in a specific relationship. What do you see?
Any type of dishonesty that goes against the relationship, right? Women cheat at the same clip that men cheat at, but where is that energy? Women cheat. Listen, I had side bitches. Them bitches knew I had a wife. They were cool with me cheating with them.
Listen, my friends, I told people this. My married friends here in Atlanta have better women than I do as a single man.
Women cheat too.
In a higher percentile as men. They have better women than I do. So, and I said that women at this stage of the game, people that's off the table. Men and women cheat at the same rate.
That's not even. At this point in my life.
No. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is this. You made a blanket statement earlier. And you made a statement, yes. You made a statement about women fleeing the relationship due to being unhappy.
That's facts. That's not blanket. That's facts.
So what I was trying to get at is what leads to the unhappiness in the relationship. And
Women.
the
Never
reason
hear niggas say, Pam, you never hear niggas say we unhappy. We stick it out. We keep going. Women, why is there a phrase happy wife, happy life? There's
so
not
let
a
me
happy
say this.
phrase.
Let me say this.
Happiness,
So
listen,
that goes to mindset, that goes to the things that we will put up with, the boundaries that we have, all of that. I think that's sort of attributes to all of that. I think a person's personal happiness also, you know, if the relationship isn't lending what?
You keep saying a person. We listen. Men don't consider our happiness in these relationships. We don't. You just said a person's happiness.
Maybe you don't, but I don't think that's the rest of the men.
Did you say men don't consider their happiness in their relationship?
Yeah. Because when you see somebody else, you're thinking about their own happiness right there.
I think he was talking about men do appreciate the happiness, but I think we value
peace. We want
peace for who? Peace for you or peace for her?
I think men value that we're being appreciated. The efforts are valued. That you know we're not doing it in vain. We don't men. I don't process happiness like that. It's more, is it giving me peace, or is this person appreciate the efforts that I'm putting forth? Women do base things on, am I happy? And I'm fine with that because I understand women are emotional creatures, so they do base things on those kind of emotions. But he was just saying, as far as men, we don't always process things. Oh, I'm happy, I'm unhappy, because that's not the world we live in. That in our era, we don't look at, oh, am I happy? Could I make this work? Could I handle this? Can I maintain this? Is this thing working for me? Is this support? So we process it like that. We don't look at, oh, is this, when I come home, is she quiet? Is it peaceful? If
I say it, I'm fucked up. I said I'm fucked up, Sanchez. Appreciate you, brother.
So I think that's how he's kind of looking. That's what he's trying to express.
But then
and I will concur. Men, we value. We're not looking to feel happy. We looking to feel valued and appreciated for the effort.
Everybody in a relationship is looking to feel valued, is looking to feel appreciated, is looking to feel.
But we're not talking about everybody. We're talking about what men and women need.
And that's what I'm saying to you. Women need.
There are general things that both parties need, but the separation in the process, in the thought process, is different. It's because the nature of the natural role playing of who we are. We don't come in. We're looking to provide, to be a man. Yeah, and part of it is correction. And then back to I was saying, a lot of times with this boss and strong, there's no room for that compromise and correction, and you're not allowing a true man to be in his full man energy. You know, so there is some truth to that, and that thing is good for women to understand how we process things, so you can understand we're less emotional. We're less like, we don't look at it like we're humans, but we're not as emotional as far as listen.
Look at our face. Look at both of our face.
Listen,
womp.
If it was up to women, Kamala Harris would have been the next president of the United States, and thank God she's not, because she would have ruined even more, put us down a pitfall, a rabbit hole.
Wow, this is wow what you're saying.
That's how I feel about it. Because now
where I say it is important to heal.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. In my opinion, and my stance on that has nothing to do with my healing and where I'm at.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does, sir. Because that's the way you women as a whole. That's the way you do women as a whole.
It is my responsibility
with your mother, and the way you see women will change.
Part of my responsibility as a man is to protect you from yourself as an emotional creature, a woman.
You don't need to protect me from myself. I got me. But what you need to do is you heal the relationship with your mom. Once you do that, Every woman will different to you.
Me and my mom have one of the best
From
relationships.
another Caribbean person.
And I think that was an unnecessary stab. It was kind of below the belt
No,
because
but that is the truth. That is the truth.
quick
That is
assumption.
the truth.
You made a
That
quick
is the
assumption.
truth. I'm a Caribbean woman. You know, I'm going to say
a quick assumption
it.
with no facts that I did not have a good relationship with my mother.
The way you talk, the way you talk, the way you talk.
Believe it or not, Nicole.
And then also shows, and it also shows to the room you have in your development to make so quick assumptions with little to no facts. So we both have room to grow, right?
It's everything that you said, everything in your discourse.
Everything I said, but none of it was an assumption from a conversation of tonight. It was all stuff that I know, and you base a very strong statement on assumptions that you from somebody you don't know from a
This is what I say. It is important. Just heal, like I did for myself, for my parents and my mom.
And this is the problem with this generation, because they go to 2 therapy sessions and they think that they know the world.
Oh no, I've been in therapy every week for the past 2 years.
I've been in therapy every week. There's another problem with women, Dewan. They
know what I'm talking about.
One or two little things, and then they know everything.
Excuse me, please stop generalizing women, both of you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. I've been in therapy every week for the past 2 years.
With both of you all outside of this.
Still need some therapy, Nicole.
We both know that everybody is different. We all know that. We all know that. Everybody is different. Every relationship is different. Every person is different. Every situation is different. So we're not going to generalize anybody. We're not going to talk about what people should do.
Or nor should people make general ass-minded statements about people's relationship with their mothers when they have no facts.
We're going to keep it.
What about an orphan?
Yes.
Like, what about an orphan, Nicole?
I'm sorry?
Respect.
I said, what if I was an orphan? You don't know the relationship between me and my mother.
I didn't hear what you say.
He was saying, what if he was
an orphan? What if I was an orphan? You do not know the relationship between me and my mother. How dare you, from way across the pond, tell me what my relationship is with my mom?
It's because the way that you're interacting with me.
And this is somebody who's so highly vibrating at a higher level.
Okay, listen. Okay, what we are doing. Hey,
interaction of a wounded man with a woman is telling. That's all that I have to say.
Everybody.
You've been in therapy, Nicole. You're not a therapist.
Yeah, I've been in therapy.
You need a lot more therapy. You need about another 20, 30 years of therapy. Easy.
Yeah, you're not a therapist.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's the
practice medicine. You went.
Okay, so listen, I just muted everybody's microphone, and I did it on purpose. I did it because what we're not going to do is we're not going to pick. We are not going to go personal. We're not going to do any of that. We are all adults. We are all over the age of 40. We all are on our own healing and processing journey. We all have various types of relationships with our parents, with our friends, with our family. This conversation is what it is, just a conversation. And I would like to get back to the facts and not jumping on each other, because this is a very good indication of what happens when us as people try to have conversations with each other about relationships, about politics, about religion, about any of those things. And one of the things about the Dear Black Woman platform is we have no judgment across the board, regardless of anyone's beliefs or lifestyle or choices. We are open, we are authentic, and we're showing up as ourselves. Nobody knows anyone who is on this call personally. I am going to issue apologies across the board on everyone's behalf for the things that are being said. And when you unmute your phone, I'm hoping that, your video, I'm hoping that we can get back to a general conversation. And I will start that with another question. And this is crazy because, hey, we're sitting here arguing now, and I think I know the answer to the question is, do you feel like Black men and women trust each other when it comes to intimacy? And if not, where do you think the disconnect is? So with that being said, I'm going to unmute everyone's screen and let's talk about that. Thank you. So my question was, do you think Black men and Black women trust each other when it comes to intimacy? And if you don't, where do you think the disconnect comes from? I can tell you where I think the disconnect comes from. I think tonight was a very good example of the disconnect. I think the disconnect comes from communication. I think that we are still triggered by certain words from each other. I think we still pass judgment on each other. And I think that we don't, to a certain degree, I don't care how old we are, know how to communicate with each other in a healthy way. I think we try to sometimes. I think we fail at it quite a deal because everybody wants to be heard, everybody wants to be respected, and everybody wants to get their, their thoughts and opinions across and things of that nature. But I think that is where the disconnect comes in. I think a lot of times we are saying the same things at each other, about each other, and I don't think we're really listening to each other. Anyone else? Dewan?
What are you asking me?
I said, do Black men and women trust each other when it comes to intimacy? And if they do not, where does the disconnect come from?
Absolutely not.
I can't hear you.
No, there's a disconnect because there's no trust. Women don't trust men because...
And for good reason.
Why do you think Black women don't trust Black men?
Trauma.
Okay. Do you think it's trauma that Black men have inflicted on Black women, or do you think it's trauma that has been carried through generations?
Some is learned trauma. Some is experienced trauma. Not all. Listen, Black men are not the enemy of Black women. We never have been. Mm-mm. The disconnect, once again, comes from Black women not understanding who Black men are.
So go ahead.
If you have an older woman who says she's healed, who you have two Black men
I hate you.
living in America on the panel telling you what their experience.
Dewan.
Your question.
Dewan. Didn't I just...
And just to follow up what he was saying,
what
he was saying is that this is part of the problem. And I've had this conversation with other Black women, and I don't know if you watch the Boondocks, Uncle Ruckus. Yes. He can't stand Black people. And the more interaction I have with Black women in particular, the more I feel like Uncle Ruckus. Black women, and it's partially everything that they've been dealing with, but we're at the point we can't blame, slavery and all these things, because every race across this world has been in slavery and bondage. We had to get ourselves and we had to heal ourselves, number one. But to me right now, it's so impossible because the Black woman is at such a critical state. The lack of disrespect the Black women have for the Black man, the lack of and the bold assumption of their know-how. You go to therapy once or twice, then you go to therapy because you're supposed to be a heightened, evolved person and handle things on a different level. And the first time you make an unjustified statement about somebody's relationship with their mother. But I'm to believe you're
The one is Sanchez.
and you're
The
supposed
one
to be
is
That's just
You're not
exactly
just
my
I
point.
you know what they say about
Not going to say anything. That's
everybody
assholes.
exactly
Everybody got an
my
opinion.
point.
Everybody
This is
got an opinion.
exactly what
They're
I was
supposed to be
saying.
they're supposed to be
This is
so
what
enlightened.
exactly what I was saying.
Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. One more time. One more time. For me. One more time. We're going to be adults. Okay? We are not going to do this. We are having a conversation, and we were having such a beautiful conversation, and it switched so quickly and so fast. And that is part of the problem with us as a people. That is part of the problem. All I am asking for us to do is to get back on track and to let go of the last situation, and let's refocus and go back to being adults in this, taking our personal opinions and personal animosities right now out of it, and answering questions and speaking logically and looking for ways to heal and help and not hinder and argue and do things like that. Like, yo, you guys, we've been on here for 2.5 hours, and this is probably one of the longest podcasts that we've done. And I was gonna let us go until things got until we came to some kind of real resolution. But if we are at that point where we're going to be continuously fighting and we can't let go of certain things, then I'm going to have to say it's probably best for us to end the night. But if we can act as adults and speak rationally and logically and let go of the last situation that just occurred and move forward with real conversation, I would like to continue this banter and this conversation where we are. But if we cannot, I completely and totally understand where every person is. And I am more than happy to end the conversation at this point. However, I think that there are 4 reasonable, very intelligent, and logical adults on this phone call. I think that we can have a very reasonable, intelligent, and healthy conversation without the banter, without the back and forth, without everything. I issued apologies across the board on everyone's behalf. I'm going to do that again, and say, let's let it go and let's move on. My question to each of you was, do you think Black men and women have trust issues when it comes to intimacy? And where's the disconnect? Clearly, we do. Clearly, we are showing that right now in this very moment. And I'm asking where the disconnect is. I'm asking where is the issue? And I need you to take your personal self out of it. I need you not to dwell on how you're feeling right now in this moment. Yes, your feelings are valid. Yes, you are allowed to have your feels. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is, let's look at it in a general sense and in a general statement, not just something personal towards another person. Just, do you think, where's the disconnect? Where's the general disconnect? Don't come in hot bashing Black women, because that ain't what we gonna do. Just because that's where you at right now. Take a deep breath, let it go, and let's, move forward if we can possibly. If not, I'm okay with saying goodbye. Love you all. Okay. Now, with that being said,
I just want to say this was my first podcast. I really enjoyed it up to 30 minutes ago or less. I enjoyed it. Was good dialogue. It was constructive. But one thing that did make sense, you got to love yourself. And I love myself, and I'm going to bow out. Kami, you have a good night.
Okay.
Duane, it was nice talking to you. It was a pleasure. Take it
So-
easy. All right.
I want to follow that up by saying, Kevin, I cannot accept your apology because you did not make that statement.
I can't hear you. I cannot hear you.
I want to follow up by saying, I cannot accept your apologies. You actually made two of them. I cannot accept either one because you did not make the statement. I'm also going to bow out. I wish you ladies a very wonderful evening.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. All right. Well, with that being said, this was a very good podcast episode. We are live. So, um, yeah, that was good. That was good up until the last 30 minutes. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I do realize that Black men and women have some issues.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
We do. But it was I'm surprised we lasted as long as we did. We went 2.5 hours
Yes,
without
I didn't realize it was so late. Even
yeah.
if I didn't approach things as I wish I would have, it really proved my points.
Yeah, I
People
mean,
don't
let's
like
just,
Black women, and that is the truth. And that is that tonight was the perfect example of
that's
that.
what I said. With the question that was next, it was so appropriate at that time. And it just prevented us from, being able to move forward because there is such a disconnect
There's a
between
disconnect about who
yeah,
we are and stuff, and the assumption of the work that we're doing on ourselves. It's just and it was, how can I say this, not great of me to have approached Sanchez the way I did, but it is the truth. When a man is not healed and when they have mommy issues, it shows. And you don't need to be a therapist to see it, because I was at the other end of that, of all the things that I've heard tonight, and I was like, wow.
yeah.
Wow. Because if you don't want a Black woman to be leading and to be showing the way, that says a lot. You don't value women, and you don't value the first woman in your life, your mom. So work
So
on your, sir.
that's
That's all I have to say.
actually not true of him, or that's why he got so offended and so upset. And I don't know if you heard him say that how much he loves his mom and um how much he's attracted to.
You can love your
No,
parents.
no. What I was
That
going to
doesn't
say
mean that
is
doesn't mean that you value them. That's different.
no,
Loving
no.
and
What he
valued
was
is
saying
not
was
the
how
same
much
thing.
he's attracted to strong Black women because of his mother. So he does find value in his mom. They have actually quite a dynamic relationship. The two of them do. So they speak often. Like any woman that enters into a relationship with him is gonna have a problem with his relationship with his mom because that's how close they are. Yeah.
You can be close to someone does not necessarily mean that you accept everything they are.
And that is
Trust me.
very true. That is very true. That is very
There's duality in everything.
so. But no, it what we uncovered tonight, and as I hope as we continue to do this show, and as we continue to do the uncensored, and as we move forward, that we'll start to see the things that we want to change within our community, within relationships, actually heal. And again, the purpose of us, just getting on and talking to each other and figuring out ways that we can, and it's the same way, like I stated, not just with men and women, but with women and Black women as well. Finding ways to communicate with each other, finding ways to be healthy, finding ways to be whole, and finding ways to be in relationship with each other in a balanced way for both parties. And intimacy, again, is not a sexual based thing. Intimacy happens between friends. It happens between lovers. It happens between coworkers. And how you define intimacy is totally up to you, or the situation that you're in. So one of the things that I want to take away from tonight is how we look at being intimate with each other, how we look at being vulnerable with each other, how we come across when we talk to each other. We need to remember that healthy communication looks like active listening. It looks like speaking in words of affirmation. It looks like speaking and being your true and authentic self. So speaking your truth. So you have to learn how to communicate with others. You have to learn how to receive communication. You got to learn how to tell someone how to communicate with you. Those are all things we have to learn when it comes to dealing with intimacy. And when it comes to breaking myths and building connections with one another, we really have to learn to look at things from various perspectives, see things without judgmental eyes, and see things from everyone's standpoint. So, you guys, this has been a really, I'm going to say, a great episode of, excuse me, of Dear Black Woman Uncensored. Thank you to both Sanchez and Dewan for agreeing to be on the show, regardless of how things went at the end. We're adults. I'm hoping that we all can, let bygones be bygones. But I want to thank all of you for joining us here on Dear Black Woman Uncensored, where we leave no stone unturned, as you see tonight, no myth unchallenged. And if today's conversation on redefining intimacy shook you up or made you think, or if you have the courage to question what you thought you knew, or you think, then we've done our job. And if you have any comments or questions for us, don't forget to log on to dearblackwoman.me, and let me go ahead and put that across the board for you guys so you can see it. And you can go to our website and log on to our website and what's going on? I'm not able to do that right now. I don't know why. Oh, okay, well, I'll do it at a later date. It won't let me put the thing up. But what I was saying was, you guys, you can log on to our website, dearblackwoman.me, and leave comments for us and let us know what you thought about tonight's show. Don't forget to like us on our Facebook page. Also, like us on our Instagram page as well. We need more Instagram followers. If you'd like to advertise your business on Dear Black Woman Uncensored or Dear Black Woman, our regular podcast, which starts back in January, we would love to hear from you. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, also go to our website as well, dearblackwoman.me, and go ahead and hit that guest submission form up under the Dear Black Woman podcast. Keep these conversations raw, keep the connections real, and remember, true intimacy starts when you're ready to get honest, first with yourself, then with others. So again, it starts with healing yourself, then going on into healing the community and healing others. So we will see you guys next time. And thank you so much for joining us for Dear Black Woman Uncensored.